There are mornings when your heart feels heavy before the day even begins. You wake up, and the weight of yesterday hasn't lifted. The betrayals still sting, the disappointments still echo, the storms that life threw at you still haven't cleared. And in those moments, your soul whispers quietly, "God, I need you to stand up for me." Psalm 35 becomes more than a scripture. It becomes your cry, your anchor, your lifeline. It's not just words on a page. It's your voice trembling in the silence. It's your prayer when your strength is gone. And sometimes you don't even have the strength to form perfect sentences. All you can say is, "Lord, rise on my behalf. I can't fight this battle alone." There are seasons in life when silence is misunderstood. When your kindness is taken for weakness, when your patience is mistaken for defeat, people who once walked beside you turn their backs, doors you trusted would open stay closed, and you're left wondering if anyone sees the struggle you're silently enduring. But there is one who sees, there is one who knows, there is one who counts every tear, who hears every word you don't speak, and who understands every ache you can't explain. And that is why Psalm 35 is more than comfort. It is a reminder that you are not abandoned. There are moments in life when silence feels louder than any noise you've ever heard. You've prayed, you've cried, you've poured your heart out in desperation, and still, heaven seems still. It's in these moments that doubt creeps in, whispering that maybe God has forgotten you, that maybe your prayers aren't being heard. But the truth, the unshakable truth, is that silence is not absence. In the quiet, God is still moving. In the stillness, God is still defending. Just because you don't hear the roar of his voice doesn't mean his hand isn't working on your behalf. In fact, some of God's most powerful defenses happen in silence. When enemies rise up against you, when accusations are hurled, when people misinterpret your heart, the human instinct is to speak up, to defend yourself, to make sure your side of the story is heard. But there's a deeper kind of strength that chooses instead to let God be your voice. It's not weakness to step back, it's wisdom. Because when God defends you, no lie can stand, no plan against you can prevail. Silence is not God ignoring your pain. Silence is often God building the stage for your vindication. And here's the part that most people miss. When God defends you, he doesn't just protect your name, he protects your peace. His defense is not just about shutting the mouths of those who rise against you. It's about keeping your heart soft in the process. He knows that constant battles can harden your spirit, so he fights in ways that not only secure your victory, but preserve your soul. That's why Psalm 35 resonates so deeply. It's a cry for God to stand up, to take the lead in the battle, to do what you cannot do for yourself. And it's a reminder that you don't have to fight every war in your own strength. There's a quiet kind of courage that comes when you trust him to fight for you. It's the courage of restraint, the strength of patience, the power of letting go. When you let God be your defender, you stop wasting energy trying to convince people of your worth. You stop exhausting yourself trying to manage every rumor or misjudgment. Instead, you stand still and watch what God will do. And when he steps in, he defends in a way that leaves no doubt that it was his hand, not yours, that brought the victory. It might not happen overnight. There will be seasons when the silence stretches longer than you would like. But the silence is not the end, it's part of the process, because God's timing is perfect and his defense is complete. You may feel unseen, but heaven has its eyes on you. You may feel unheard, but heaven has recorded every tear. And when the time comes, the same God who was silent will speak so loudly on your behalf that no one will be able to deny his defense over your life. So, when silence feels heavy, remind yourself that God is your defender. His silence is not abandonment, it is preparation. And when he stands up for you, the weight of the silence will be replaced by the weight of his glory. There will be times when life will present you with situations that make no sense at all. times when you will see the wicked prosper while the righteous suffer, times when you will watch people who lied about you walk away untouched while you're left to pick up the pieces of your own heart. In those moments, trusting divine justice becomes one of the hardest things you will ever do, because divine justice rarely works on your timetable, it rarely looks the way you expect, and it almost never follows the path you would have chosen. But here is the truth that will steady your heart. God's justice is not delayed, it is deliberate. What looks like silence is actually strategy. What feels like abandonment is actually preparation. And what seems like injustice that goes unchecked is actually a story still being written. We often think justice is about immediate retribution. We want to see wrongs made right instantly, but divine justice is deeper than that. It is not just about punishing the wrong, it is about restoring the broken, healing the wounded, and ensuring the outcome works for your ultimate good. That's why trusting divine justice requires humility. It requires surrender. It requires laying down your version of how things should happen and embracing God's higher plan, even when it's shrouded in mystery. This is not easy. In fact, there will be days when your faith feels stretched so thin that you wonder if it will break. But it is in those moments that Psalm 35 speaks with such clarity. Contend, Lord, with those who contend with me. Fight against those who fight against me. It's not a call for you to take justice into your own hands. It's a call to trust that the God who sees all will handle what you cannot. And here's what makes divine justice so powerful. It doesn't just defend you, it transforms you. While God is working on the situation, He is also working on your heart. He is teaching you to let go of bitterness. He is showing you the strength of patience. He is developing in you the kind of trust that isn't shaken by circumstances. And when His justice arrives, it doesn't just vindicate you, it matures you, it shapes you into someone who can handle greater blessings, greater responsibilities, and greater peace. Divine justice may be slow by human standards, but it is perfect by heavenly standards. Every delay has purpose, every silence has weight, every unanswered question is part of a greater answer that you cannot yet see. And when the moment comes, the same God who allowed the waiting will reveal the wisdom of the wait. You will look back and realize that His timing was not just right, it was necessary. Trusting divine justice means believing that the story is not over even when the current chapter hurts. It means holding onto the truth that God's character is good even when His methods are unclear. And it means walking forward with the confidence that one day, whether in this life or the next, every wrong will be made right, every truth will be revealed, and every wound will be healed. Peace is one of the hardest things to hold on to in the middle of a battle. When the accusations are loud, when the obstacles keep stacking higher, when the attacks seem relentless, your natural reaction is to fight back with everything you have. But Psalm 35 reminds us of a powerful truth. Sometimes the greatest weapon you have is not in your hands, but in your heart. Peace is not the absence of trouble, it is the presence of trust. Finding peace while God fights your battles is not about ignoring reality. It's not about pretending everything is fine when it's not. It's about anchoring yourself so deeply in God's promises that the storms raging around you cannot shake the stillness within you. This is not passive. This is not weakness. It takes extraordinary strength to stay calm when everything around you is trying to pull you into chaos. Peace in the middle of battle is a declaration of faith. It is saying, I refuse to let what's happening around me destroy what God is building within me. And here's the truth. Peace is a choice. Every day, you will be tempted to trade your peace for anxiety, for anger, for the satisfaction of fighting back. But peace says, I will not fight on my own terms. I will rest and let God fight on mine. That doesn't mean you stop working, stop praying, or stop standing for what is right. It means you stop carrying the weight of the battle on your own shoulders. You stop obsessing over how and when the victory will come. You start trusting that the one who promised to defend you has never lost a fight. And the more you trust him, the more peace takes root in your spirit. This doesn't happen instantly. You will have moments when fear rises. You will have nights when worry tries to creep back in. But every time that happens, you remind yourself, the Lord is my defender. If he is for me, who can be against me? That reminder changes how you carry yourself. It changes how you speak, how you respond, how you move through your day. Peace becomes your armor. It protects you from emotional exhaustion. It shields you from making decisions out of panic. It keeps your spirit focused on what matters most, staying close to the one who is fighting for you. And here's something important. Peace in battle is not just for your comfort. It is for your witness. People watch how you handle difficulty. They notice when you don't react the way they expect. They see your calm when chaos should have broken you. And in those moments, your peace becomes a testimony to the God who sustains you. Peace while God fights your battles says to the world, I trust him even here. I trust him even now. So today, as you face whatever lies ahead, choose peace. Not because the battle is over yet, but because the one fighting for you has already secured the victory. You don't need to see the finish line to rest in his promise. You just need to know that the same God who stood with David, the same God who defended him against impossible odds, is the same God who stands with you right now, and in his presence, peace will always be possible. There's something sacred about the quiet of the morning when the world is still waking up and your heart is still deciding how it will carry the weight of the day. In seasons of trial, those early moments become even more important. Morning prayer is not just a ritual, it is a lifeline. It is the moment you gather your scattered thoughts, your heavy emotions, your weary spirit, and place them in the hands of the one who can actually carry them. The strength of morning prayer in trials is not found in fancy words or perfect phrases. It's found in the honesty of a soul that comes before God and says, I can't do this alone. I need you. And in that moment, something shifts, not always in your circumstances, but in you. Trials have a way of draining your strength before the day even begins. They live in your mind when you wake and follow you like a shadow. That's why starting your day in prayer is an act of defiance against despair. It's saying, before I face what's coming against me, I will first face the one who goes before me. Morning prayer doesn't erase the trial, but it equips you to walk through it differently. It steadies your heart. It reminds you of promises you might have forgotten in the noise of yesterday. It centers you in truth, so the lies of fear don't control you. It reconnects you with the source of your strength, so you don't walk into the day empty. Sometimes, the greatest strength you will ever carry into a trial comes from that quiet place where it's just you and God, before the distractions, before the attacks, before the weight of the world presses in. There's also a beautiful simplicity in morning prayer during trials. It doesn't have to be long to be powerful. Some mornings, all you can say is, Lord, help me, and that's enough, because prayer is not about impressing God with your words. It's about inviting him into your reality. And when you do, he brings peace where there was anxiety, clarity where there was confusion, and strength where there was exhaustion. Morning prayer is also about alignment. Trials can pull you off balance, pushing you toward bitterness, anger, or self-reliance. Prayer pulls you back into alignment with God's heart, his ways, and his timing. It shifts your perspective from why me to Lord, I trust you even in this. That trust becomes your anchor throughout the day. No matter what you face, you keep returning to that place of surrender you found in the morning. And here's what makes morning prayer so powerful. It's not just a way to survive the trial, it's how you grow through it. Every morning, you pray in the middle of difficulty, your faith muscles grow stronger. Every time you choose prayer over panic, you train your spirit to lean on God more quickly. Over time, you realize that the strength of morning prayer isn't just about getting through one trial, it's about becoming someone who walks in strength, no matter what comes. So as the trials press in, don't neglect those quiet moments at the start of your day. Let them become your training ground, your refuge, your place of renewal, because every battle you will face is better fought when you begin the day on your knees. One of the most difficult lessons you will ever learn in life is to trust the timing of God. It is easy to trust Him when things move quickly, when prayers are answered in days, when breakthroughs happen right on schedule. But when His timing stretches longer than you expected, when weeks turn into months and months turn into years, that is where your faith is tested the most. Resting in the assurance of God's timing is not a passive thing. It is not sitting still doing nothing. It is a deep, deliberate choice to believe that every delay has purpose, even when you can't see it. It is deciding over and over again that you will not confuse delay with denial. There will be moments when the waiting feels unbearable, when you watch others receive what you've been praying for, when you see people who wronged you seemingly thrive while you're still trying to heal. In those moments, doubt will whisper that maybe God has forgotten you, but Psalm 35 is a reminder that He hasn't. His timing is not human timing. His justice, His blessings, His restoration, they all arrive at the perfect moment, even if that moment doesn't make sense right now. Resting in His timing means choosing patience over panic. It means holding back from forcing doors open just because you're tired of waiting. It means trusting that the same God who knows the number of stars in the sky knows the details of your life, and He hasn't missed a single thing. And here's what makes His timing so powerful. It's not just about the moment of the breakthrough. It's about everything He's building in you while you wait. In the waiting, He's strengthening your character. In the waiting, He's preparing your heart to handle the blessing when it comes. In the waiting, He's aligning circumstances you can't see. The waiting is not wasted. Every day you trust Him is a day you grow in ways you couldn't if the answer came too soon. Resting in His timing also means releasing control, and that's hard. We want to know when, how, and why, but faith doesn't always come with those details. Faith says, even if I don't know the timing, I know the one who holds the timing in His hands. That confidence changes the way you live in the waiting. You stop watching the clock and start watching His character. You stop counting the days and start counting His faithfulness. And in that shift, peace begins to settle in your heart. There's a peace that comes from knowing you don't have to rush what God is preparing. There's a rest that comes from trusting that the season you're in right now has just as much purpose as the season you're waiting for. And when His timing arrives, when the door opens, when the breakthrough happens, when the prayer is answered, you will see why you had to wait. You will see that His delay was actually His mercy, His protection, His preparation. So today, rest in that assurance. Don't rush ahead. Don't grow bitter in the waiting. Choose to trust that His timing is perfect, His plan is good, and His hand has never left you. Because when the moment comes, it will come beautifully, completely, and exactly when it was meant to. And now we arrive at the end, where everything we've carried, every trial, every waiting season, every battle, meets the truth that has been holding us together all along. God has been standing with you the entire time. Even when it felt like silence, He was there. Even when it felt like nothing was moving, He was moving everything. And now you can look back and see that His hand was never absent from your story. The battles you've faced have not been wasted. The tears you've cried have not been ignored. The waiting has not been for nothing. Every moment of pain was shaping something deeper in you, faith that is unshakable, peace that cannot be stolen, and strength that cannot be broken. And the same God who brought you through those valleys will carry you into the victory he has already prepared for you. So here you stand today, not because the battles were easy, but because God was faithful. You are stronger, wiser, and more grounded in him than you were before. And that is no accident. That is the result of every morning prayer, every quiet act of surrender, every choice to trust him when you couldn't see the full picture. Now you can step forward with confidence, knowing that he is still your defender. The battles ahead may look different, but the truth remains the same. He has never lost one yet, and he's not about to start with yours. You can rest in his timing, trust in his justice, and walk in his peace, because the God who has carried you this far will not leave you now. As you close this chapter and step into the next, carry this prayer in your heart. Lord, I will trust you. In silence, I will trust you. In waiting, I will trust you. In battles, I will trust you. In victory, I will still trust you. That prayer is more than words. It is your anchor. It is your strength. It is your declaration that no matter what comes, you are standing on the unshakable foundation of his promise. And as you walk into the days ahead, know this: the God who fought for David, the God who stood by every person who called on his name, is the same God who stands with you. Your story is not ending in defeat. Your story is a testimony of his faithfulness, his power, and his perfect timing. And when people look at you, they will see what grace looks like in motion. They will see what it means when someone truly rests in the assurance that God himself stands up for them. And thanks for watching.